Well, good morning, friends. I'm Pastor Paul Ortiz, and it is good to be with you as we gather in homes across the city for brunch church for Lent. As you may know, Lent is a time when we are invited to remember that we are connected to the earth. There is that scripture that we read today, which is associated with the very beginning of Lent, that where God breathes God's spirit into the earth. And that creative breath, that creative spirit is what brings humanity to life. It's what continues to keep us alive in some beautiful sense. And that creative force is still flowing through us. And in some way, it's our truest selves. We are created to create, like our creator, right? As you may know, Lent is a season where sometimes people give things up for Lent. You may have heard that. And that actually has gotten pretty distorted and it becomes almost like a toxic diet culture, but for Jesus. And that's not what we're talking about. In Lent, we are invited to examine what has gotten in the way of me being that true creative self, where the spirit is still flowing through me and I could create with others in our world, or I could be free like that. And then if we do identify things that are holding us back, then maybe we do give those things up for Lent in order to be more centered and more free. So maybe I do give up scrolling on social media till 1 a.m. every night because that's not giving me life. Or maybe I examine how am I relating to alcohol or food in ways that are kind of unhealthy and holding me back. And so I detox from those things. But again, it's not this legalistic thing. Rather, it's this more how do I be more fully alive thing. Another thing that I love about Lent is that sometimes people take on things. And so maybe you take on gardening for Lent, or you take on reading poems or ancient prayers in the morning because that gives you life. Maybe you get out more or connect more with others and you make that effort. If you're exploring what should you give up or take on during this season, just ask yourself what helps me be more free and creative in the world with others. So to help us to tap into our creative selves, Kim is going to come up on the video in just a moment and lead us in a practice, in a meditative practice with clay. And if you haven't already picked up a chunk of clay, I invite you to pause the video right now and each person in the room grab a chunk of clay so that you could be ready for this reflective practice as we reflect on the ways that God creates us from the soil. And we are called to be creative in that way as well.
Hi everyone, I'm excited to share with you a guided meditation using clay. Clay can be used as a grounding relaxation and centering tool. It's also a reminder of our connection to the earth and our power to create and play with it. You don't need to consider yourself an artist to be able to work with this and have fun with this medium. Any clay will work just fine, but today we'll be using Crayola's air dry clay, so nothing fancy, but it'll work just as well. First, tear off a good sized fistful of clay. Now, I'd like you to sit with it. What does it feel like to hold, tear apart, or knead it? Notice your response. Do any words leap to mind? Slimy, slippery, dirty, sensuous, pliable, soft, creamy. Pay attention to your breathing and to your gut. what comes up. Let memories, feelings, or thoughts rise and fall in your mind as you handle the clay. Gently close your eyes or have a soft gaze. Move your awareness to your hands, then your shoulders, your lower pelvis. Try touching the clay very lightly, then more strongly. Notice what feels best to you, more effortless. Continue that movement, that form of touch. See if you can adjust your method to find what is best for you. What does it feel like to squash it and squeeze the clay through your fingers? To roll it or pound it flat between your palms? Does an image want to be made out of the clay? If so, follow it and try to stay focused on your breathing. If the image changes and transforms as you work, let it go and become something else. The changeable nature of clay is a wonderful reflection of the mind and the endless coming and going of images. Do any voices pipe up saying, "Don't make a mess, don't get dirty," or "This doesn't look good, this isn't what I wanted to make"? If so, ask, why not? See what sort of answer you get. When you're done with your piece, reflect on what the clay might say to you. Is it a word, phrase, lyric, or story? You might want to journal about this experience later or share with another person. I hope this helped you process some of your inner world in creating something tangible. Thanks for participating.